So last month I talked about the fact that we're seeing a rise in talent management opportunities around the world with our customers, and I thought I'd give a little bit more perspective on talent management and how we see the talent management marketplace. It's interesting that talent management hasn't really moved as far forward as talent acquisition solutions, whereas talent acquisition solutions have really moved forward focusing on the experience for the candidate. Talent management is still quite traditional. Now, that's not to say that there hasn't been activity. We know many organisations have replaced their HCM system over the last few years, but that still remains primarily for most organisations a system of record. Now, there are clearly lots of new technology entrants into this area that look at engagement in a different way from the traditional survey, or look at peer recognition in a different way from sort of standard recognition cycles, and even down to talent marketplaces now rather than traditional career pathing. But most progressive organisations are starting to look at talent management very differently. Now, clearly the case for good talent management is quite straightforward. Progressing people within the organisation is a lot more effective often than having to acquire people into the organisation. But what we're seeing is that most organisations who are leading in this area are seeing their employees as not just a number, but as a person, and increasingly thinking about their well-being and their personal development as part of an overall talent management solution. So from talent management, you now have two perspectives really. The perspective of the company, which is looking at the skills of the workforce, looking at their capability and very much for the organisation, but then also thinking about the employee and thinking about what the employee needs as part of their journey through the organisation, a part of their development as well. And fundamentally, both of these come down to insight around people. And often these sort of insight comes from large, often expensive consulting engagements that look at capability across the whole of the workforce, or look at specific development centres and development programs for individuals. But I think there's a revolution on its way where insight can be brought to both the employee and the employer in a very scalable, very agile way through the use of technology and also science as well. And if this period of the pandemic has taught us nothing else, it's that change is a constant. And the ability to really understand the workforce and to be able to pivot and change as required for the circumstances is something that senior execs will demand. They will demand of their organisation. And I do believe it's an opportunity for HR to step up in this area and really provide the insight into the workforce, into the people in the workforce as well, that can provide additional extra information for the executives to make the best decisions that they can to get the best outcomes, but also for the individuals as well to make sure that they're developing and managing their career and their engagement within the organisation. So I think there's going to be lots of revolution in talent management coming over the next months and years.